Hello and welcome to another episode of Parenting Teens with Dr. Cam. I'm your host, Dr. Cam, and today I'm talking with Brenna Stull, the brand ambassador for Coach Mom. Brenna is a renowned speaker, mentors, pastor's wife, and mother of 7 children. She has been mentoring women for 25 years and has spoken to hundreds of moms organizations on the local level, as well as the MOPS International Convention. She is the brand ambassador of Coach Mom, which she launched in 2007, and does professional coaching to moms internationally in her Coach Mom Tribe membership group. Stull is the author of Coach Mom, 7 Strategies for Organizing Your Family into an All-Star Team, an international bestseller in 8 categories in 5 countries. Welcome, Brenna. I am so happy to have you here.
Thank you, Dr. Cam. I'm so excited to be here.
We were just talking about how passionate we are about this, and I want to ask where, Coach Moms get started. My guess is it has something to do with having 7 of your own kids.
I needed so much help myself as a mom. I found that I was overwhelmed. I had 4 children, and I could hardly get anywhere on time. When it was time to leave, we were looking for shoes, we were looking for keys. I was overwhelmed. And I realized, you know what? I can't basically wing it anymore. I'm more of a big person, I'm not into details. And this can be a problem when you have a lot of children, a lot of people to take care of. I've actually had personality professionals sit down with me and look at my profile and go, you're in charge of, and at that time it was 5 kids, and laugh at me. And they're like, oh, this is funny. So God knew I needed some strategies, right? Some boundaries and some things that might be even common sense to a detailed person. Mm-hmm. I needed some help. And so I started praying for, how do I bring order here? And actually, God brought ideas. All of a sudden, ideas were coming out of, I would read something in a magazine. I would do this, and it would spur my own idea. And I would think, I could apply that in my home this way. And I started trying these things and they worked. And so that's what it just started working for me. And then my neighbors started asking, what are you doing? Teach us, and I was talking with them one-on-one. And then finally I said, you know what, it's more, can we just form a class? Because Let's just all get together and talk about these things. And it was so great because we did. We met for 6 weeks, and I think it was 8 of my neighbors came. They came every week, and it was so exciting. And then, I started speaking on the subject, and then I just really felt prompted of the Lord to write a book. And I was like, this is not what I'm looking to do. By then I had 5 kids, ages 9 and under. But it was a God thing. I mean, he prompted me and he provided, and I got it done in 4 months. So it was really
4 months with 5 kids.
5 kids, ages 9 and under, and really without disturbing our family. And that was one of my most exciting things about it, was no one in my family even knew I was writing it except for my 3-year-old, because the time that I spoke, or the time that I chose to write each day, I realized there was one time in my day that was either 30 minutes to an hour, maybe an hour and a half, when only one of my family members needed me, because the others were at school, the baby was napping, and that was in the morning about 9 to 9:30 or 9 to 10, depending on how long the baby napped. Mm-hmm. And that was when I wrote. And so it was really cool. I asked my husband, because really, to bring it all together and finish the rough draft, I was like, I'm going to need more than a 30-minute block. I need to lay this all out and everything. So for my birthday, I asked my husband for 24 hours to get away. And I took a little retreat. And I remember my husband telling my sons, he was like, Mom's going to go finish her book. She's going away for her birthday. And they were like, oh, really? What book are you reading? My older kids, and my husband was like, she's writing a book, actually. And they were like, what? And I was like, yes, this shows these strategies work. You, as a mom, can still do big things, even when you have small kids, without disturbing all the order. And it was really exciting. So, and then I've just been sharing since then. So
That is absolutely phenomenal. And I love that you're sitting there going, it can be done, and I'm going to show you how. Because I know there's so many parents out there that feel like their entire life is just sucked up by their families. And it is. But I think what you're saying is there's ways that we can actually figure out how to manage our time, and manage our energy to be able to still have our passion and do what's important to us, which I think is absolutely beautiful. So what is one of your tips?
Okay, so for teens or for families in general, I know you talk about teens.
Yeah, we talk teens mostly. I'm sure parents are interested in all, but let's focus teens mainly. Like we've got.
So I believe one of the most powerful things that a family can do to nurture their kids is the family dinner. And really going all the way back, like there's a Harvard study, Catherine Snow, a professor of education at Harvard, did an 8-year study on 65 families and tried to find out what is the biggest factor that impacts our children. You know, is it playtime? Is it story time? Is it, what was the other things? Playtime, story time. Let me check my notes. Education, which, you know, we spend an awful lot of time thinking about that and making sacrifices in every way to make sure our kids, when they're going to school, get into just the right school or whatever. Or family dinner. Which one is it? Well, I've already kind of given away that. But by far, family dinner impacted child development more than any other thing. Now, I know we're talking teens today, so I just wanted to bring that up as a backdrop. That's how impactful, like even if that's the one thing that we're doing. I know when we adopted our children at they were 9 and 11, our last two, they were behind. They were trying to learn the English language. They were trying to catch up to their grade level, you know, and, you know, sometimes it was just such a hard transition just to adjust to their learning what family life is like and things like that. And I was so glad to know, you know what, maybe I didn't teach them one more English word today, or maybe I didn't do this or that, but you know what, we had family dinner together and I know that we made progress because we sat around the table. So what I'd love to do is share a few tips. Like there have been studies that actually show that family dinners with teens have a huge impact. The National Center on Addiction and Substance Abuse at Columbia University conducted national surveys on family dinners starting in 1999, and then Project EAT, which is Eating Among Teens, a research study at the University of Minnesota, they found that family dinners can significantly lower the chance your son has of getting depressed or considering suicide, bringing up your child's GPA, bringing up your child's self-esteem, lowering their chances of becoming obese, significantly lowering the chance that they will be sexually active that year, cutting in half the chances that they will use tobacco, cutting in half the chances they will use alcohol. And it came close to cutting in half the chances that they would use marijuana. And I mean, those are powerful, you know.
Huge.
I think those are things that most parents would love to foster in their children. All of those things, lowering those things and upping the other things.
And here's the interesting thing.
So it's powerful. And yeah.
Oh, so I think we're on a little delay, but what I was going to say is what's interesting is a lot of parents are very focused on those things, but the approach that many parents take is lecturing and nagging and threatening and taking away phones and things like that, which actually have the opposite effect because they stress kids out and push the kids away. And you're saying we can achieve what we're trying to achieve by spending more time with them and having dinner together. Right? I think you froze a little bit, or did I freeze a little bit?
Yes, I'm freezing up a little bit.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
There
you go.
Okay.
You're back.
Okay, sorry about that. You were saying that parents are actually pushing away by like kind of mandating, we're going to connect, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I would say, you know what? The family dinner is actually a parent's opportunity. I'll start crying on this because I'm so passionate about this. To actually woo your child into a close relationship. Mm-hmm. And you know what? A lot of teens may not even realize it, or they might realize it, that they actually crave, because we all crave close family relationships. We really do. They want the approval of their parents. I think they're just tired of being nagged, like you said. And after a while, they don't want to put up with it. It's just like, no, I don't want to hear it. But I think even if you've been a nagger, you can turn it around and you can start being encouraging, and you can start doing some things to make your family feel special. Just some practical things. For one thing, clear off the kitchen table. I help moms move from frazzled to fun by getting their homes and families organized. Well, one thing is getting the clutter out of the home. Really clearing off the clutter. It's amazing how physical things impact us emotionally. Just cleaning up and decluttering the house, that in and of itself can be definitely bring down the stress of you as a mom and your family members. And so clearing off the table, I know so many families end up just cluttering, and they don't actually even have a kitchen table to eat, to gather around, because it's stacked full of papers and stuff, because it's a flat surface and it's easy to dump on. So I think, first of all, just making the effort to get that cleared off, and then sitting down around the table. It's so rare. I've never done a study, but I know I've had now 7 teenagers, and many of them, and I cannot tell you how many, always when our sons we've got 5 boys and 2 girls. So the 4 boys were first. And I noticed whenever the kids got old enough to drive, and usually it was like at the end of their sophomore year, all of a sudden 2 or 3 boys would end up showing up at our house around 4:35 almost every day. And I finally clued into it. I didn't really even realize it. Like, we love having people over, and we just be like, hey, why don't you stay for dinner? And you want to just stay and eat with us? And I've got some miracle stories on that too. Oh, it's amazing. But I didn't even notice it till one time my parents were visiting, and my dad was like, it's kind of funny how these guys always show up right around dinner time. And I thought, oh, it is true. I hadn't even noticed it. But then I asked them, sometimes I was like, does your family, gather? And they said, no, I usually eat in my room. Most of the kids I've asked, they ate in their room and they fixed their own. They're like, I just get whatever I can and I eat in my room whenever I'm hungry. And they were so craving connections and just sitting around our table and, just saying grace, bowing our heads together and thanking God and being grateful. And I mean, there's connection there. And then just asking people about their day. But, turning off the TV. I know you're saying we're not wanting to go too far, like we're going to turn off the TV. No, we want to woo. We want to woo and make it an experience. And even if, I know there's so many stressors, and people might say, I don't have time to cook and stuff. Well, there are so many options. You don't have to cook. It does not matter what you are eating. You can go pick something up. But you know what? I will also say, when I take the time to make it special, even if it's picked up, maybe like one example, someone had a party and had this huge, one of those biggest pans of lasagna left. And we ate it one night, we ate it a second night, and we still had some left, and everybody loved it. But I was thinking, man, I'm going to have to sell this for the third night, because they're going to be like, we've had this, I cut the pieces in nice little, I took it out of the pan, and I got my crystal pedestal thing, and I, heated it up, and then I placed it on top of the pedestal and kind of did a little extra cheese when I heated it up. And people came in and they were like, wow. I mean, literally, this was the third time within like 5 days that we had lasagna. But if you do little extra things to sell it, I'm just saying, woo them and sell it. And sometimes I'm so practical, I'm like, I don't want to put this in a bowl. I just want to leave it in the sack. And everyone can reach in and get their whatever, carrots or whatever. But when I just think, you know what? Let me just push through that thought and put it in a pretty bowl. And just doing stuff like that, like people notice, kids notice, and they feel special. And just gathering around the table and just go, hey, we're going to talk and we're going to try something different. I know we usually have the TV on, but we just want to connect. And they might at first be like, but I'll tell you, as you make sure, as parents make sure this is going to be a positive time, a positive experience. We're not going to talk about grades. We're not going to talk about driving too fast in your car. We're not going to talk about your chores. We're literally just going to talk. And believe me, they will put down their guard, and they will start looking forward to it. And if your teen doesn't want to talk, I mean, most people do want to talk about themselves. So not at first, they're probably going to be skeptical, because they're going to think, where are they going with this? Like, it always comes down to what I'm not doing. What's the trap? Yeah, what's the trap? So try to make it just encouraging and ask them about, maybe keep it more surface, but saying we're gonna have a conversation starter. Just try to do a little better job of connecting. And what's your high for the day? What was your low for the day? And go around and just share something non-threatening like that. But then the more they let their guard down, I'm telling you, if you know what your child's passion is, typically, if it's playing the drums, then you're asking them, what are you hearing about drums lately? And just telling them, asking them about stuff they're interested in, they will talk.
Absolutely. So Brenna, I know one of the biggest probably questions people are having right now is, how do you find the time? Because everyone has, yes, even during the pandemic, everyone had so many things that they were doing. Schedules were all over the place. And this is with parents with like 1 or 2 children can't find time. Yes. You found time with 7 kids. How?
And it wasn't always all 7 of us every single night, but we really did aim, and we still do aim. We've only got 2 at home now. We've got 4 in college, 1's out married. But to have 4 to 5 nights a week where most of us, almost all, if not all, are there, we just had to get creative, because every one of our kids was in sports. Every one of our kids was in music. It's not easy. I totally recognize it. One thing is, we need to take a hard look at our schedules sometimes. The hard thing is, as teens, you can control when your kids are small. You can control, am I going to put them on this team or not? And I do encourage those of you who have small children, wait as long as you can and keep control. Because when they get into high school, you literally don't. Like, the coaches will tell them they have to be there over spring break for practice. If so, forget the family ski trip. I mean, those go out the door. There are certain things you cannot do. So you have to work around that schedule, but trying to find a creative way, even if it's breakfast or if it's a dessert moment or like a snack moment in the evening where, hey, we're just going to sit down for 10 minutes or 15. There is something about gathering, sitting together and connecting. And I can tell you, I've noticed such a big difference. Like we believe in fasting and praying and things like that. And I can tell you, on the days that we're fasting and we don't sit together, like we don't make our kids fast or anything like that. Some of the older ones have done that on their, in and of themselves, made their own decision. But when we don't sit together, literally, I feel a void on those days. I can feel it. It's like I'm connecting more with God because I'm fasting and praying, but we miss that time. There's something that happens when you sit and dine together. And I wanted to bring up, if people are skeptical and they're like, well, my team doesn't want anything to have with us, anything, they're not going to want to do this. Well, CASA, it's the National Center on Addiction and Substance Abuse. They did a survey that was among teens who reported infrequent dinners, and 60% said they would like to have dinner with their parents more often. And that's even kids that might be a little skeptical. Like, I can promise you, if you start in and keep it positive, and you just that's what we've tried to guard over our family dinner time, and then have, like, we do still need to address family issues sometimes, and we'll just say, hey, we're all going to meet in the family room at 8:30 or 9 or whatever, and we have some things we need to talk through. But we try not to do that over family dinner because we just want to keep it positive. So that, and then splitting up the responsibilities. I know you can't do all these things at once if you've got kids that are really like almost PTSD about time with you. You have to give it some time. But as everyone relaxes into something, Mom, I want you to know my whole thing is about teamwork. And everyone really does feel better about things when they're helping. And so you can work into, hey, why don't we, do this? Like, this will make this go a little faster if everyone will hang around. And a lot of times I'll just say, hey, before we leave the kitchen, could everyone put away 7 things? Well, that really adds up. People are just putting away the butter, but it actually saves so much time. So, two other things I wanted to share as far as facts. Middle school teacher Michelle Trujillo, in her book, Why Can't We Talk? What Teens Would Share if Parents Would Listen, says that tweens and teens want desperately to talk to their parents about things that are worrying them, but parents don't listen. And so listening, showing, and you're going to have to prove it to your kids. Like I say, they're going to come in with their guard up if this has not been a habit and if the relationship has been strained. But give it time. Don't expect them to, but just nurture them. And they want this. 79% of parents agreed that by having dinner together, they learned more about what was going on in their teens' lives. So it really is a win. It's a win all the way around.
It is so important. And I love that you're sharing all these facts and numbers too, Brenna, because it is something that I'm so passionate about too, and spending that time. And I've been working with teens, mentoring teens for like 2 decades now. And I tell people, because this is so true, I have yet to meet a teen that doesn't want a better relationship with their parents.
Oh, absolutely.
Every single one, bar none. But they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to do it. They feel like their parents are unapproachable.
Yes. The biggest thing is parents are too busy and they don't take the time to listen. Teens need to feel like they're cared for. And when they don't feel like they're even cared for, then that's when they put up their guard and just say, forget this then. Forget this. I'm just going to go do whatever. And I just want to encourage parents, though, that I feel so strongly about this, that even if they've done everything wrong up to this point, and they might have a 16-year-old and a 14-year-old, and they think, well, it's too late. Kids are so forgiving. And even if it's been a total disaster, if all you've done is nag your kids and you've never had a family dinner and your only conversations involve instructing them and telling them what they're doing wrong, you can go to your child right now, even if they're 17 or, and just say, you know what? I heard an interview. I listened to Dr. Cam, and I realized today I've been doing a lot of things wrong, and I want to make some changes. Kids are so forgiving. They can literally turn on a dime. And like I say, it might take them a little bit of time, but they want that.
They really do. And
I want that.
I want to just clarify too that, when we do this and when we make the change, to set our expectations, because I've seen parents go, well, I just did what you said and they didn't respond the way that I expected them to. And then they get frustrated. Don't put any expectations on your kids. Because they aren't there. If you change, it's going to take them a while to warm up. And if we have expectations that they don't live into, like I try to have a conversation and they shut me down, so now it doesn't work. You got to keep trying. And
we've got to be the adults.
Yeah, you can't have expectations on them.
No.
It's about you connecting with them, not them connecting with you. And I think that's so important. And it takes a while. If you haven't had that connection, it takes a while.
It takes time to build it.
It really does.
And as they feel special, like you cleared off the table, you care, you've taken the time to make things special. Like I say, it's not as important like what the food is, but just having some food. One of the things that really made me excited when I first heard that study that Catherine Snow did with the 65 families, I was absolutely blown away, first of all, because I realized how much time as moms we were talking about, like as our kids approached kindergarten and everything, it was like we talked about and thought about and researched about education like crazy. And a lot of people were making huge sacrifices, like driving almost an hour each way, like thousands of dollars a year. And I thought, you know what? Not everyone. At first I was discouraged. Like, I can't believe it's family dinner. Like, people aren't doing this, And then I realized, no, this is actually good news, because not every family has the resources or time to put their kids in what they feel is the best school.
Yeah.
But every family has to eat every day. Every family has an opportunity to do this. It doesn't matter. If you don't even have a kitchen table, you can put down a blanket in the middle. Like, everyone needs to eat and has this connection opportunity. So then I got really excited, so it's for everyone.
It's so powerful. It's so good. And it is so true. And I think it's just really hard for parents to comprehend that sometimes, because we are so programmed to think the best thing we can do for our kids is education. And I talk to teens who are so over it, and they're stressed out because their parents are stressed out about their grades. And they're like, but they don't listen to me and what I love and my passions. And so I'm having, panic attacks because I know I'm going to get yelled at by my parents because I can't focus on this because I don't see the point, and they're not feeling connected. And it's like the fix is actually so easy, and we're making it so difficult. It is so easy if we do that. So thank you for your insight on that. And spreading that. I know there was like one more, and we're like going way over, so I hope you're okay, because
I'm fine with it.
You also wanted to talk about the positive affirmation, and I want to have talk about that real quickly too.
Okay, this goes right hand in hand with what we're talking about, because we often do this around the dinner table, but it's celebrating your children. And this is so huge. This is so huge. And we use special moments in our family, like birthdays or promotions or graduation, things that come up. It's mainly birthdays and graduations, to go around and honor that person and have everyone participate in that. Like, everyone just knows, like, and everyone, like, if people are at our dinner table, like I said, there's always extras depending on who's what age, always the juniors and seniors, will be like, anyone can just add in, but we're all going to go around and just share one character quality or a special memory or something with this person. It's her birthday today, or something that we see, and speaking into each other's lives, and having siblings speak. Whoops, I think we're a little unstable on our connections, but having the siblings speak into each other's and bless each other, it's basically a blessing. And then my husband always wraps it up beautifully. He's a pastor. He's fine. He's almost got his 3 points, to share about how he puts a bow on it. But really, the Father's blessing is such a huge thing. And if your husband is not comfortable, like he's quiet and he might even just want to jot down, like on paper, if you give him a heads up, like, could we do this for so-and-so? It's her birthday tomorrow. Could you be thinking about these, or jot down these points, and just have that right there where you could kind of read it off or something. But that's huge. And even like for our teens, for each of our kids, like for their birthday parties, we let them invite the number of whatever their age is. If they're 16, they get to invite 16. And with so many kids, like, we do every other year a birthday party that's their age, like, and then every other is just like 2 or 3 friends to do something. But we've always done this with their groups, with their, like, we'll say there's 16 teens here that are 16, and we're like, hey, this is what we do at someone's birthday. We're going to go around and just feel free to just share either a funny memory or something you really appreciated that this person did for you, or a character quality that you see. And they really get into it. Like, the teens love it. And we've even had so many. It just hit me yesterday when I was preparing for this. I thought, this may be even why we've ended up hosting so many of our kids' friends' parties or graduation things, like if their parent wasn't prepared to or able to have a graduation party for them. We ended up having one, and I thought, they may have really wanted that because they knew what we were going to do. Like, that's how powerful it is. And we do it for whoever we're honoring, whoever the party's for. We go around and take the time. And then personally, we're Christians, and we say a prayer of blessing over that child. And it doesn't matter how old they are. Like, they don't outgrow this. They really don't.
No. I mean, we like it at our age, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they do it for us. Like, for Mother's Day last week, or whenever, they all went around the table, and they just each probably ended up sharing 2 or 3 things each. And it just went on. And I was just like in a bucket of tears. And, if your child's love language is words of affirmation, even more.
Yeah.
So,
but just having that, I think a lot of times we assume our kids know. They know that we love them. They know that we're proud of them. They don't. They do not know that. They need to hear it over and over and over again.
And so much of the time, like, we see these gifts that they've been given, gifts and talents that God has put into them, but it is so second nature to them that they don't think it's anything special. They don't even realize that they have it.
Yeah.
So speaking that makes them really think, maybe this is true. And I can tell you, sometimes the most powerful, like my son Caleb, we have spoken into him so many times about his leadership gifts. And it still has taken years and years and years and years of telling him that it's hard for them to believe, until they hear it from other people. And then he said something one time about, wow, so-and-so said this about said I had this leadership gift or whatever. And I thought, we've been telling you this for 12 years. Like, are you kidding me? But so it's like, they don't just need to hear it once. They need to hear it over and over again.
Yeah. One thing too I love is one of the most powerful ways for kids to hear it is if they overhear you saying it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when they hear you saying it, they're like, you've got to say that, you're my mom. Like you have to say that. But when they overhear you, and I will intentionally do this where I know she's in hearing distance. Yes. And, you say something to somebody else and they overhear and it's like, what? I mean, Absolutely. It's almost like hearing it from someone different, right? When
yes, I agree.
It's super, super powerful. So Brenna, I'm going to let you go, but this has been phenomenal. And I'd love to continue talking with you. How do people find you, and tell us about your book?
Okay. Coach Mom Tribe is my website. CoachMomTribe.com is my website. And my book is Coach Mom, 7 Strategies for Organizing Your Family into an All-Star Team. And it's really anybody, any age if you have kids of any age can apply it. I've even had people that aren't even moms say, I loved your book. It helped me organize my life, get my house organized, and structure my time in an intentional way. So really, it has principles in it that can be applied to any season of life. And many of my examples, of course, I share, this is a good way to organize your home if you have children, especially small children, things like that. But it can be applied anyway. And that's, it's on Amazon right now. And it's also through my website. There's a button that actually goes to
I will put links so people can find it for sure. It sounds remarkable. Any parting words of encouragement for parents with teens before we go?
The main thing is like what I've already said about it's not too late. It's not too late. They do want to connect with you, and just be encouraging, care for them instead of what they're doing. It's more like who they are.
Yeah.
And those things will come around. One of my favorite quotes, trying to remember, is Roy Lesson. Mothers are gardeners of God, tending to the hearts of their children. And I just love that. We're tending to their hearts. And we realize what a tender thing that really is. And it takes some time to take a deep breath in this busy world. Take a deep breath and be gentle. Yeah. It's so easy just to be barking out orders, and we see the things that our kids aren't doing, and we feel like it's our responsibility as moms to correct that. Mm-hmm. And really, I would just encourage you to tenderly garden and tend to your children's hearts. And like I said, be honest with them. Kids can spot fakeness, or, I'm trying to think what the word is, not being transparent or not being humble. Just humble yourself before them and say, you know what? I realized I wasn't doing a very good job at this, but I love you so much. I want you to know that. I'm sorry I've not demonstrated it this way. I focused too much on harping on this, harping on that. I want you to know I care about you.
Yeah.
I care about you, and I want to support you. And, eventually, one of my favorite things with family dinners, it's kind of hard to swallow, but I got this idea from parenting expert and author Tim Kimmel. It's a what's your beef night. And you let the kids, like, it might be a leftover night, like you can choose whatever you want to eat. Let's heat it up and let's sit around the table. And what's your beef? We're going to let you talk to us. And our promise to you is we're not going to say anything to defend ourselves. We're just going to listen. And it's hard. It's hard because you want to say, but I did that because you did this.
Yeah.
We've got to be the adults. We've literally got to be the adults and just take a step back, realize that we care more for them. We care enough to bite our tongue.
Yeah.
And just, there's always at least a small part that we have to own in something, and just own it. And just, there's power in that. And that will get you, if you feel like it's going to take a long time, well, you know what? Start the wet your beef nights when you dare. When you dare to. When you feel like you can handle it.
Yes.
And that will literally take you light years ahead at such a fast pace.
It is so true, because all teens want is a voice, and so much of the attitude and what we see as like disrespect is actually defense mechanisms, because
Absolutely.
they don't feel heard. And so the more your teen is pushing you away and the more attitude they're giving you, the more they're saying, I need to be heard. And so that's so powerful. So Brenna, thank you so much for joining us today. I am so grateful for that. And thank you, parents, for taking time out of your busy day to spend with us. If you want to learn even more about how to connect with your teen and calm the drama, be sure to join me on Tuesdays for the Parenting Teens Power Hour. You have an incredible lineup of experts that are ready to share their best tips and secrets with you, and it's free. You can register at askdrcam.com/power hour. I'll put the link in the show notes. Also, if you enjoy this episode and all the amazing nuggets that Brenna shared with us, please take a quick moment to rate and review. This helps other parents like you find the show. Feel free to share it with a friend as well, and have a peaceful, positive, calm day.